On this channel, I would like to showcase any form of fitness I involve myself in, such as yoga or hiking, while incorporating some sort of knowledge that, in my opinion, would be helpful to others. I ask that I am not only granted the appropriate knowledge to guide others, but I also ask for the patience as I would like to have support from the community. And speaking of community, I am extremely grateful for the heartfelt comments that some of you have left on my previous videos. Unfortunately, I have not gone through every single comment, but for my upcoming videos, I would like to shout out some of you if that is fine with you all, whether I say your user or I can actually include a screenshot of your comment on my video if that is fine. And some of my videos will be this way. I showcase my practice that I choose to do alone, as I do enjoy the freedom to move at my own pace. Some classes, of course, instructors have to be mindful of the time. Some people have things to do, so practicing at my own pace allows me to connect deeper with myself. Now, I try my best to chop and shorten an hour-long session. I've noticed that a lot of my videos are super long, so please let me know if I should shorten them. I want to know how you all are doing. I hope you are having a great day so far. If not, I hope your day gets better. I hope your situation gets better, whatever it is. We all have those good and bad days. I'm not one to preach about everything is positivity, because we can't have one without the other, but just know with the appropriate skills to help you manage, your situation will get better. This is what I truly enjoy. When I practice, I find spots that are not crowded. I am very meticulous of the areas, such as if there is open space, I scope out the landscape, because when I practice, I don't need any distractions, not my phone. Bugs, of course, is inevitable because, of course, I'm practicing outside, I'm outdoors, so bugs are expected, but I mostly feel better in a wider space. Instead of my tiny room at home, I also live near a busy street, so I try to find those nice, quiet, secluded areas. So if you are like me, let me know how you practice, if you do practice, or whatever it is that you do for your well-being. Before I get into the topic of this video, I would like to start off by emphasizing that I am a student and practitioner of spirituality and physical movement. I am grateful for the knowledge and education that I've acquired over time in regard to integral lessons that allows me to comprehend the reality and holistic viewpoints of the human body in wholeness. No, I am not an expert, but I want to share my thoughts with you all. The number one vital essence of life is breath. To breathe is to live. We can survive days without water or food, but without oxygen, we are dead within 2 to 3 minutes. Even if you're an athlete that's involved in those breath holding competitions, there comes a point where you cannot exceed past a certain duration, no matter how hard you've conditioned your lung capacity to do so. This not only pertains to humans, but the same goes for plants and animals, in which they depend on air for their continued existence. One common principle that every sports coach, yoga teacher, even martial artist, you name it, they all emphasize or mention to be mindful of your breath, because physical health relies upon correct or proper breathing. This is where the integral part comes in play, which my mind will forever be completely fascinated with. Physically, breathing strengthens the internal organs and muscles. It also develops the mental capacity and the spiritual nature. Without it, the heart cannot beat, the lungs can't perform. That leaves the blood not being circulated properly throughout the body, and of course, that leads to other organs failing. In anatomical terms, there are major components of the respiratory system that allows air to flow upon the act of breathing. So when we breathe, we draw air through the nasal cavity or the nose, which is warmed by contact with the mucous membrane, and after it has passed through the pharynx and the larynx, it passes through the trachea, which is considered the windpipe, and that subdivides into numerous tubes, which is the bronchial tubes. Those tubes then subdivide into and terminate in more subdivisions for gas exchange to the alveoli of the lungs, and the oxygen passes into our bloodstream from the capillaries. It then returns to means by the capillaries by another route, the veins to the heart, from whence it is drawn to the lungs. Now, during that gas exchange, a form of combustion takes place when oxygen comes in contact with blood. This is where the respiratory and the circulatory systems work together to circulate blood and oxygen throughout the body. Air moves in and out of the lungs through the air passageways, while blood moves in and out of the lungs through the pulmonary arteries and the veins that connect to the heart. The blood takes the oxygen and releases carbonic acid gas generated from the waste products and toxic matter, thus purified and oxygenated to carry back to the heart, which is now rich with properties and qualities laden with life. If insufficient quality of air reaches the lungs, the foul stream of venous blood cannot be purified, and that robs the body of nourishment and poisons the system because those wastes that should have been destroyed are returned to the process of circulation. In integral terms, which is the fun part in my opinion, the breath is superior to the mind and the body. In Kemetic terms, the ka is known as the vital essence that distinguishes a person between life and death. The ka is considered the double, as it is separate from the body. In some languages, the word for life force is the same for air. For example, the word anima in Latin means spirit and breath. In Sanskrit, prana is the universal energy which flows in currents throughout the body that animates life. It is the life force. In Chinese, qi is known as the vital life force or energy that runs through all living things. So essentially, the meaning is the same throughout those different cultures or languages I've named. The many cultures that collectively share this concept was influenced by something or things, someone or group of people. There are ancient artifacts that proves the original roots of a spiritual practice that was not separate from the body by movement, which in Sanskrit is yoga, but in ancient Egypt it is smai taiwi. That means the union of the two lands. So in reference to the breath, it is the balance of life. In ordinary breathing, we absorb and extract a normal supply of this essence, but by controlled and regulated yogi breathing, we are enabled to extract a greater supply, which is stored in the brain and the nerve centers to be used when necessary. Similar to how a battery stores away electricity, we do possess those same qualities. The external represents the internal. I can go into depth about that, but I don't want this video to be longer than what it is. But this video is mainly about the essence of the breath. So gaining control of the breath gives one control of the mind. Not only do yogis strengthen all parts of their body with this technique of breath, but the brain itself may receive increased energy from the same source, which is powerful within itself. So not only does the respiratory system and the circulatory system work together, but the nervous system, the muscular, and the skeletal system play a part. And you can't forget about the endocrine, urinary, reproductive, and lymphatic system. This is the beauty of not only learning about just one component of the body, but every aspect of your body works together, physically and spiritually. One thing may stop working or one thing may not function properly, it affects something else. But one major ability that we have is that breathing is voluntary and involuntary. This is where that conditioning comes in play when I spoke about those breath holding competitions. Even if you are a swimmer, breath suspension is a technique to build your lung capacity. Now, let's not forget about those who have natural limitations, such as asthma, even pregnant women. There are always precautions, even if you are considered a fairly healthy individual. Proper habits of breathing lengthens the days of man. On the other hand, some factors that can affect your breathing, which there's a decrease in vitality, is obesity, anxiety, stress, things of that nature. Some of those circumstances can be preventable by maintaining or generally being attentive to your state of mind, especially as a natural, worrisome individual like myself. As a young child, I remember stressing myself out just by overthinking. I'm worrying about my future, I'm thinking about past situations, anything, which is normal, but overthinking has its pros and cons. It can be beneficial in moments of decision making, but it also leads to mental exhaustion. I would get to the stage of fatigue at many moments of my life. However, ever since my back injury, a lot of you will most definitely hear that a lot from me. I tend to speak about my back injury very often. Ever since my back injury, I've been exposed to a different realm of knowledge. I say different realm because this type of knowledge was never brought to my attention. Ever since I've been practicing movement, I felt so much better about myself as a whole, not only physical, but mentally. Although my body was in a state of recovery, even to this day, I've come to accept the worst version of myself through love, not just my healed self. And that is the beauty of the mental aspect. It is such a reward once you put in the work, no matter the difficulty. I want you all to try something. I want you all to name two adjectives that you consider positive and negative about yourself, non physical. You can drop it in the comments or you can do it for yourself. Know your own characteristics. This not only pertains to your emotional well being, but on an extra dimensional level of realization, on a level of energetic transduction in a way. So, as you utilize your own source, you are granted the awareness to transcend, and your pure self will remain. Try your best to bring your attention inwardly. Utilize your breath to quiet your mind. Ground yourself by utilizing your breath to calm your nervous system. Your nervous system drives your body's survival. Your nerves control everything that you do. So the mind exists as long as there are thoughts. When there is none, the mind will vanish. By controlling your breath, you gain control of yourself, your energy. It is the silent experiencer that perceives the physical. Allow your body to recover. Again, I am not a medical professional, but I try to have a spiritual perspective that ties to the medical. It allows me to comprehend life better as well as know what is happening with my body. I am steady building my foundation, but I also want to offer my support and my values to you all and others that share similar experiences or aspirations. All that I think I know, there's absolutely more to know than the circumference of my awareness. Dr. Ray Hagins is an excellent teacher. I've been exposed to his ways of thinking, and that's where that statement comes from. And I think that is such a powerful and a truthful statement in which I truly abide by. That is a humbling statement because no matter how much we think we know, there is so much more to this life than what we can comprehend. So I'll say it one more time. Even if you can rewind this, all that I think I know, there's absolutely more to know than the circumference of my awareness. Anyway, if you made it this far, I truly appreciate you listening to me yap. I do want to shed some light on the origin of yoga, as I have honestly refrained from some instructors due to the lack of information. As I stated earlier, I can go into depth of more of what I introduced, but for now, this is the end of this video. If you enjoyed, please let me know how you feel. You can react any which way. You can like or dislike this video. I honestly wish that there were dislike buttons or thumbs down. I'm not sure why everything has to be agreeably forced, you know? But whatever. I hope you all have a great day or night. Again, I thank you so much for commenting, liking my videos, and also subscribing. Until next time, bye.